There's been an interesting response in the last few days from the folks at Fox News over whether or not Donald Trump Jr.'s email revelations that he did in fact meet with a Russian lawyer in the attempt to get damning information on Hillary Clinton and the DNC. The folks at Fox News can't decide whether or not this is a big giant nothing burger or if this is actually a very serious offense that the Trump administration needs to take seriously. And to an extent, what they're telling their audience, the TV audience, is that this is nothing, this is stupid. In fact, sometimes they've even said these emails vindicate Trump Jr. somehow. I'm not sure if they actually looked at them, read them, or understood what was said or what the criminal application of collusion actually means. But no, there's nothing in these emails that acts in any way as some kind of vindicator for Donald Trump Jr. or anyone within his staff. So the reason I bring that up is because they really are having this kind of existential crisis right now over what direction they want to take these emails. You have people like Shep Smith that say, nope, hey, it's a big deal, it's bad for them. And you have other folks, the people on the Five, Sean Hannity, who's invited Kellyanne Conway on, Donald Trump Jr., and they say, nope, this is stupid. This is the Democrats with their scaremongering, this new Red Scare talking point that's out there for some reason. But here, let me read you a little something that Fox News actually posted online on Tuesday evening. A little snippet here. The Republicans who are tasked with defending and protecting the president through these various outrages, be they self-inflicted Twitter wounds or larger traumas like this one, referring to the emails, cannot do their work if they don't know the whole truth. That's why these revelations about the meeting are particularly damaging. The Trump campaign should have put this out long ago rather than letting 52 Republican senators read all about it in the New York Times. So online, at least, Fox News, Chris Steyerwalt, who wrote this, apparently seems to think that, yeah, it's a big deal. Because at the heart of it, you do have Republicans in the House and Senate and all over this country who have tried to write this off from the very beginning. They've been telling us this is stupid, this is nothing, the Democrats are out of line here. And meanwhile, yeah, they find out about this stuff from the allegedly fake media, as Donald Trump wants to say. Trump, I don't think, understands the gravitas of this situation. I don't think he fully comprehends what he is facing. We still have the Bob Mueller investigation ongoing that is now looking into these emails. Do you like Jill Stein, Farron? Sorry, I had to break because of that question. I've answered that several times this week. I personally, Jill Stein, not the Green Party, Jill Stein, not a fan of her, think she was a bad choice for them to run her. So anyway, sorry, back to the issue here. What's basically happening is that Republicans, it's like if you walk outside your house, right, and you see that your neighbor's house is burning down and they're not home. So you call them and you say, hey, buddy, your house is burning down. And instead of them saying, oh my God, I need to fix it, they're saying, yeah, well, you need to trim your hedges. That's what Fox News is attempting to do on the air. When we say that, the Republican Party itself, the Trump presidency is burning down, they say, yeah, well, your party's bad too. You did bad things. You guys suck. That's not a valid argument. That's misdirection. And the Trump supporters love it. They believe it. They fall for it every time. And what's really fun to see is earlier today, Mike Pence tweeted out, we're working on getting this healthcare plan passed, and all of the Republican, I don't want to insult them at the moment, but all of the Republican supporters of Donald Trump get on there and say, yeah, hell yeah, MAGA, you got to undo this disaster. We don't need the government in our health care. Tell that to the people on Medicare, which has an overwhelming approval rating. People like it. They enjoy it. They're happy with it. Tell that to people who depend on Medicaid, which is a lot of Trump supporters. They're going to lose that under this Republican plan because they're too narrow-minded to see what's happening. The Republican Party today is no different than it was 10 years ago, no different than it was 20 years ago. They still stand for the same things, which is privatization and tax cuts for the rich. It's what they've always stood for during my lifetime. I was born during the Reagan administration, and that has been their policy ever since. So Trump, his only issue, his only problem, aside from being, a rage monster, is the fact that he is embroiled in these scandals. If he were not under investigation, all of the Republicans, everyone in the Republican Party would absolutely love what he is doing then. Because he's trying to cut taxes on the wealthy. He's trying to take away social safety net programs. Trump is not a bad Republican. What's bad about him is that he did all these potentially illegal things along with his campaign did, and that's why these investigations are there. Every Republican in this country would absolutely love this man because his policies are no different than what we would have gotten under a Pence or a Kasich or a Cruz or what was that other, Marco Rubio. They all believe in the same things. And Republican voters don't understand that. They don't understand that they could lose their health care insurance under this Republican plan. Or if they keep it, it's not going to cover what it used to. They're going to lose their benefits. They're going to lose damn near everything. They're going to pay higher premiums, especially if they have a pre-existing condition. Assuming if they have a pre-existing condition, they get to keep their plan, because in the current form of the Senate bill, that's not going to happen. Furthermore, I know we've gotten way off the Fox News topic, but we have to. We have to understand that this version of the bill will allow people who are insured through their companies to lose their health insurance if they have a pre-existing condition. The employer-sponsored health care coverage is basically nothing anymore. That's what prevented a lot of people from having to buy into the Affordable Care Act. That is one of the main reasons most people in the United States who have insurance actually have it, is because we have it through our employer. But now they will have the option of dropping us if we have a pre-existing condition. If we have asthma, if we have a peanut allergy, any woman who's ever had a child or been pregnant, pre-existing condition. I had my appendix out about 13 years ago. Boom, I'm done. Pre-existing condition forever. Nothing I can do about that. I was in a nasty car accident. A few years after that, pre-existing conditions there. No fault of my own on either of those, but I'm stuck with this stigma now forever of having these pre-existing conditions. Two of my kids were born with peanut allergies. Pre-existing conditions for life. No, they didn't do anything wrong. Republicans have said in the past that good people who lead good lives, don't have pre-existing conditions. They've literally said that. And yet, these people like myself, people like my kids, people all over this country, millions of us, have done nothing wrong, but we get born with things. Some of them, in effect, of what corporations are spewing out into the environment or dumping in our water. That's not our fault. We didn't do it. We didn't tell them to do it. We just happen to be born of people who were exposed to this. And that's a good point that thermodynamics points out. Females are born with a pre-existing condition, pregnancy prone. Yeah. In the mind of Republicans, being a woman is a pre-existing condition. Being a woman means something is just inherently wrong with you, and we shouldn't have to cover it. I unfortunately just saw a question come through that I will not answer. Gamefire74 says, we have to take the House of Representatives. We do. In order to do that, we have to have a message as a party. And right now, the Democrats, their only message is, man, Trump is bad, you should vote for us instead. That's not going to cut it. It didn't cut it in 2016. It's not going to cut it in 2018. I mean, Republicans can take health care away from 23 million people and still win the House if the Democrats don't fight back, if they don't come up with a message, and if they don't talk to people. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Donald Trump, as horrible as he is both a person and a politician, went out there and he talked to people. He lied to them, but they bought it up because he was willing to do it. Like Nixon, Trump will avoid going to prison while his underlings end up doing time, commented by Brett Mallory. I agree 100%. Unfortunately, in Trump's case, his underlings might be his kids at this point. Why haven't you spoken on the impeachment process starting? That is a good question, and that's a fairly difficult question because I think it was a mistake. I know, it's kind of shocking. It's too soon. We don't have all of the information we need yet. We don't have the numbers yet. If you go too soon with this, you're going to blow it. I mean, you're going to make people have impeachment fatigue. They're not going to buy into it once we do get the evidence. It's the boy who cried wolf. We know that there are impeachable offenses in there. But until we get all of that info, until we get everything that we need and we build a bulletproof case, we can't go forward with it. You cannot turn the public off of that idea. Right now, we got the polls in our favor. Majority support it. We let them know that we're working on it, that we're investigating, that we're putting together files, binders full of impeachment material. But not too soon. The Mueller investigation has to complete before we can move forward, or else we blow our chance. We get one shot, basically, folks. And so I do not want to blow it that fast. I think it's too soon. I think we need all the chips to fall into place. We need all of the evidence, and then we strike. We strike when Republicans can't say no, even if they still control the House. Because when we get the public on our side, when those phone calls start coming in, just like they've done with healthcare, and that has helped, then we can move forward with it. Fox News is dying in the ratings right now. And that is good. That is good for this country. Because the fewer people that watch that, the more people that watch some of the other outlets are going to get to a certain extent, I should say, a less biased news source. Fox News will rarely, if ever, talk about bad things Trump does or put it in any kind of framing that lets their viewers know that Trump is not a god. Shepard Smith does a decent enough job of that occasionally, but if the rest of them are out there, if people are tuning in, they're going to get this wrong opinion of everything, and that's going to hurt public opinion. Robert Reich has a different opinion, somebody just noted, on my opinion on impeachment. That's fine. People have different opinions. That's great. I'm glad. I don't have to agree with anyone in this world 100% on anything. I'm giving you my opinion, my take on it. Mostly from a legal perspective. I work around about 40 different lawyers here. We talk about things. We know how the process works, and I just wholeheartedly think it's far too early to do it. Maybe it's successful, in which case, great. I'm wrong, and I'm wrong in the best way possible. He gets out of office. Everybody wins. I would gladly take that hit of being labeled wrong if it means Trump is out of office. But I don't think now's the time. I really don't think it's going to happen right now. And I know, I apologize because his name escapes me, but the person who put forward these articles of impeachment said, we just want to let them know it's out there. We just want to kind of force them to be more honest. That's not what you do with impeachment. Impeachment is to get the guy out of office. Almost there. Almost let it slip. But just wondering, what about Chris Wallace? Sorry, lost the comment there. He doesn't sound so bad unless I'm hearing wrong. Chris Wallace, don't know a whole hell of a lot about him, but what I've seen is not so great. Most of the folks at Fox News have a clear agenda. They want to keep the Republicans in power. Shepard Smith occasionally, even during the Obama administration, would come out and say, look, some of these attacks on Obama are wrong. They're disingenuous. They're based on falsities. So we can't do that. But at the end of the day, Shep Smith is going to go for what the Republicans want. And yeah, somebody says Chris Wallace is the best of a bad bunch at Fox News. That's basically what it is. When you have a couple not as horrible bad apples in the bunch, they're still pretty bad. You still don't want to eat that apple. It's just not as rotten as some of the other pieces of fruit in there. So that's what happens at Fox News. I personally don't think there's any good souls left over there. I don't know that there ever were any, unless you count Alan Combs. but he was not a super strong Democrat, and that's why they paired him with Sean Hannity, so that Hannity could run over him whenever he wanted. And somebody just commented there, Mueller will not conclude anything till the last piece of the puzzle falls into place. And that's correct. Mueller right now is having to put together absolutely everything, and the investigation won't stop. I know this sounds redundant, but until it's finished, until he has uncovered every possible thing that he could uncover, he's going to keep going. He has to. That's his job. Or until Trump fires him, in which case that's pretty much, you can't say that that's the smoking gun, but he wouldn't hire him if he wasn't, or fire him if he wasn't afraid of him. So, as he says, get Donald Trump Jr. to testify. I know they're trying to get him to testify next week. I don't know that he would, and to be honest, I would love for him to, but he's an idiot if he agrees to do it. I mean, we've seen what he's done when he's not even forced to answer questions, and so I can't even imagine how stupid he would come across if we put him on the stand to sit there and just talk. Because that's all they'd have to do is just put a microphone in front of them, step back and say, just tell us some things. How's your day? What's going on? Well, I sent the emails and I got the emails and I met with the person and we got the information. He's that dumb. He really is, folks. I mean, so that would be the best course of action. You don't even have to ask him a leading question. Just say, what's going on, buddy? How are things? Just let him roll. Trump Jr. makes Trump seem smart. He sadly does. And that takes a lot. I mean, and Donald Trump, quite frankly, makes George W. Bush at times look smart. And that was a man who orchestrated some of the worst torture the United States has done in my lifetime. And I've actually seen a lot of articles recently, and this is kind of switching topics again, but talking about the fact that this George W. Bush nostalgia has to end. And I agree 100%. Look, George W. Bush, compared to Trump, looks like a better president. But we have to remember Abu Ghraib. We have to remember those pictures. We have to remember what this man did. And it was truly disgusting, truly horrific. It was damage that it took President Obama 8 years to repair. And Donald Trump has destroyed it in 6 months. And I'm talking about America's image abroad. People hate the United States again, or they dislike us, distrust us, because of Donald Trump. Now, Bush took him 8 years to sink that down to low. It took Obama 8 years to pull it back up. Trump's taking it back down to pre-Bush levels in 6 months. 6 months. Somebody just said Melania is going to divorce Trump as soon as he's impeached. I wouldn't be surprised. I really, no offense, Melania, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that would happen. What other questions we got here? Bill Maher called the Trump boys douchebag on, yeah. Bill Maher occasionally says funny things, but he also occasionally says a lot of racist things. So I think the bottom line is that we all have to be slightly patient, and it sucks. But if we think about it, there hasn't been a whole hell of a lot of damage that Trump has inflicted on us yet, and we're going to have to endure a little more. And I hate to say that. I really hate to say that we're going to have to endure even more hardships. We may have to endure a little bit of the Republican health care plan because we have to get the information we need before we can get him out of office. Scott Pruitt is doing damage. Hell yeah, he is. Scott Pruitt, in my opinion, is doing more damage than anyone else in the Trump administration because Scott Pruitt's decisions take place like that. Some of this legislation that they propose, some of these executive orders, they can't take effect just yet. We got time before those go into effect. Scott Pruitt, he makes a decision about what the EPA does. Boom. Most of the time, it starts that day. Chlorpyrifos, that deadly toxin made by Dow Chemical that screws with children's brains, that's out there. He made that decision, said, we're not banning it. Go. And they did. And they do. And a lot of people are talking, too, if we end up, impeaching Trump, then we get Pence. Yes, we get Pence. Pence is horrible. Pence is about as far right as you can get. He's tied at the hip with the religious right, which means more, restrictions on women, on their bodies, on what we can and can't do. And so I think, obviously we've got the trade-off there. Pence isn't any better with regards to policy, but he is I guess slightly better on maybe not getting us into a thermonuclear war, but we won't know. So, Pence is scary. Pence isn't someone that I trust or would want to call Mr. President, but I think Pence is more beatable in 2020. I think Donald Trump pulled the wool over people's eyes once. I think he understands how to manipulate people at their most basic levels, and I think Pence couldn't do that. I think the Democrats could roll over Pence in a heartbeat. I don't think at this point most potential Democratic candidates could beat Donald Trump. I really don't. I think Bernie could. I think Nina Turner probably could beat Trump. I don't think Cory Booker would beat Trump, not by a long shot. Chelsea Clinton sure as hell wouldn't. And Donald Trump understands that. Believe it or not, the Republicans are afraid of Bernie. They're afraid of Elizabeth Warren there. I saw somebody add that. They are. They absolutely are. But I don't think we're going to get 8 years of Trump. I really don't. I think once the Mueller investigation concludes, once we get this information, I think he's either going to be voted out of office, or maybe the information will become so damning that he'll pull a Nixon and say, all right, I'm out. I'm done. I got to go focus on my companies, so that's what we've got. Also, real quick, anybody watching, go follow me on Twitter, at Farron, F-A-R-O-N, Balanced, B-A-L-A-N-C-E-D. I don't tweet often, so I'm not going to crap up your feed, but it's always nice to see those numbers go up. Also, later on today, we have a poll going up on our Patreon, patreon.com/TheRingOfFire. It's open to everybody. You do not have to be a paying patron to vote, but we want to hear from you and get your opinion on who the Democrats should run in 2020. Somebody just asked, truly, would Trump get impeached? Look, I'll tell you this story to answer that question. I believe 2004, 2005-ish, maybe even 2006, the Downing Street Memo. Those of us who were involved heavily in politics at the time understand what that statement means. The Downing Street Memo was a memo released by British intelligence that showed that the United States was fixing information to show that Saddam Hussein was making weapons of mass destruction when in fact that he was not, and they want us to go along with it. That is what the Downing Street Memo said. A lot of us at the time were like, hell yeah, this is it, folks. This is the smoking gun. We're going to get George W. Bush impeached. Nothing. And so anytime new information comes out about the Trump administration, like Donald Jr.'s emails, in the back of my mind, I always just keep thinking Downing Street Memo. So that's what concerns me. The public forgets. The public moves on. The public doesn't care. Somebody just commented that my Twitter handle sounds like the old Fox News slogan of fair and balance. And yes, that's the pun. And it was actually Sam Cedar came up with that back in, I think, 07 or 08. I did an interview with him, and they made the play on my name. It became my Twitter handle, and that's that. But anyway, listen, we want everybody to go over. The poll's going to open on our Patreon at 3 p.m. Central today. So head on over there. You do not have to, again, be a paying patron to vote, but we want to get your thoughts on who should be the Democratic nominee for the 2020 presidential election. Patreon.com/TheRingOfFire. If you feel like supporting us, we absolutely appreciate all of the help. But nonetheless, go and vote in that poll. It opens at 3 p.m. Central Time. And keep watching. Thank you very much.